in this bulletin. Here, would you pass these around if anybody else needs one? All right, so I'm going to say the date, and you're going to tell me what's going on. All right, I'll wait till you all get a bulletin. In case you haven't figured it out, I used to be a teacher. All right, Thursday, September 12. Let's hear it. Book group, Courage to be Disliked, and there are still some copies if you would like one. Okay, good. Saturday, September 14th. You're not supposed to tell. We know you know. Okay, yes, ritual gathering for sweetness and nurturance in your life, led by Susan Huff. Every Monday at 5:30. Meditation, yes. September 22nd. Congregational meeting. You guys are rocking it.
What time is the meeting, Sue?
11:30 here in Bridge Hall, correct? Yeah, okay. All right, that was September. You aced it, 100%. Everybody gets an A. Now for extra credit, we're into October. October 5th.
October 5th?
Is it 6?
I think it's the 6th.
Oh, sorry, I have written down the 5th. Well, October 6th. Movie screening, Bad Faith, and the director is going to be here speaking to us. Yeah. October 16th. This is a new one, folks. We're sneaking it in on you. Night of Peace and Healing with singing bowls. Okay. October 20th. Blessing of the animals. Woohoo. I don't even have a pet, but I love that day. And finally, October 24th. Pre-election party. Get all our anxieties out and just have some good old-fashioned nonpartisan fun. Okay, there's going to be one more announcement, and this is really special, but we're saving it because it's so special. So first of all, I'd like to invite Susan Brown up for our mission moment.
Good morning, everybody. At the last SIA, or the Spirit in Action meeting, it became very obvious to me that not everybody actually even knows who Fende is, or what the organization is, or how long actually we have been here. We've been involved here at the church since 2010, a little bit before. But I sent to a couple of people in the Spirit in Action meeting last week a little article that I found quite by accident, and I thought I would just take a few segments out of it. It was called Basking in Spiritual Blessing, and it was written by Robin Pearson for The Independent. On an outdoor stage in a small, poor, dusty village in Central Florida, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, one of the world's most renowned and beloved spiritual leaders, got a close-up and personal glimpse of Laguna Beach's generous spirit. In January, the Dalai Lama visited the Norjaling, a remote Tibetan village settlement in the birthplace of Tempa Dorje, who owns the Laguna Beach handicraft shop. And at the same time, all of us, a troop of visitors, followed along and traveled to the village bringing gifts. Moments before the Dalai Lama took stage, before thousands of people gathered, he asked, "Who is Tempa Dorje?" Tempa was asked to sit in the VIP section, but he was not dressed appropriately, so he ran home and took his clean shirt off of a clothesline in the backyard of his sister's and put it on along with his suit coat. Dorji sat nervously before the spiritual leader. The man, the Buddhist, in front of the man, the Buddhist people consider the embodiment of compassion. As the Dalai Lama listened at the village, because they always have this presenting report about all the things that happened that year, and also it mentioned all the contributions of Tempa Dorje and this group of people. Dorje, I can't see. Anyway, Dorje was stunned, and he climbed onto the stage, kneeling before the 78-year-old Nobel Peace Laureate, asking him to stand. His Holiness stretched out his arm and put it on his shoulder and thanked him for all that he had contributed to the people of the village. And Dorje said, "I was thrilled and shocked and a little bit sweaty, but he was just a representative of Laguna Beach, and it was a huge blessing for him. I am completely overwhelmed by support for this community, especially from the neighborhood Congregational Church and its members who have given us the platform to discuss Tibetan culture and issues many, many times. For it was not just one person's effort, but it was our community. And it resulted in a celebration. And since that time, in 2010, the Fende Foundation has been working with His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and we are here to preserve, protect, and advance the knowledge of Tibetan culture. And also, we also work very hard to preserve Tibetan refugees camps and poor communities. We also represent a young monks feeding program for orphan monks. We have built schools, we have built extra places for them to live, we have restored the temple, we have done a million things for them, but we've learned that we have to find out what they want first. We don't make a decision for them. They come to us and let us know what they need. And finally, I just want to say that in conjunction with Susan Huff and Walking for Water, we have kind of formed a coalition. And one of the most exciting things that we've managed to do, because of Susan and her kids, we've put in about 15 wells in impoverished places in India. These people have no water. So they now have wells, and one of the places we put a well and a water tower is at the little temple. And because we've managed to do that, we put in a permaculture, we planted trees, we put in grass, we put in walkways, beautiful, elaborate colored walkways, they love all that. And we've managed to lower the temperature around the monastery by 10 degrees, which is really a lot. So we are thankful to be a continuing part of NCC. And in the sanctuary, there's actually a picture on this wall of the Sharing Light project, where we donated 200 solar lanterns to the entire community. So we've had a long history. Susan?
We just sent $10,000 to His Holiness, whatever.
Yeah, we just sent, Susan just sent to Ladakh. And we are working with, actually, the home, which is the Dalai Lama. And anytime they need water in India for the Tibetan communities, they call us.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
Good timing. Good timing.
You start.
No, you start.
Okay, we have a great announcement to share with you. Quite a while ago, we applied for a significant grant from the Lilly Foundation, and it's called the Rest and Renewal Grant for hardworking clergy members, so that they can take sort of a sabbatical, but instead of having to do a research project, the pastor has to figure out ways to replenish his or her spirit, clear the mind, rest the body.
Yeah.
And we got the money.
See, you don't understand yet how significant this is. This is a nationwide grant. Hundreds of pastors apply for this thing every year, and only a small select portion get it. We got it.
And I want to emphasize the word "we," because not only is there some money going to our favorite pastor, Rod Echols, but there's money coming to us for the 3 months of his absence, which will be next summer. And we're going to get a significant portion of money to do special programming that we couldn't otherwise afford, so that we will not be adrift in his absence.
And what's also exciting about it is that by announcing it now, we have these next 6, 7, 8, 9 months to prepare for it. And I want to acknowledge that your board has commissioned a committee to work with me over the next 9 months to prepare for this sabbatical renewal period for myself and for our entire church. So I want to acknowledge our committee, Sue Cross, Kate Hennessy, would you stand and be recognized? I also want to acknowledge Robbie Robinson. Robbie, are you here?
She's right here.
Okay, hey Robbie. So Robbie, Kate, Sue, and myself will be preparing the church for this renewal period taking place next summer, okay? Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. Because not only am I going to be able to get away and rest and renew, but there'll be funds so you can do the same while I'm gone. So I think this is an amazing opportunity. I'm so honored and proud to say that we got this grant. All of my pastor friends who got the grant, I want to extend my congratulations to them. And even the pastors who didn't receive the grant, I hope they apply again some other time, because it is such a great gift. It is such an amazing honor. And I cannot wait to receive these grants on your behalf in the coming months and to see all the cool things you do while I'm gone. That's going to be exciting too. I'll say more about that soon. So all my plans are coming into form as we speak. And so I'll be saying more about that in the coming weeks. Okay? Give yourselves one more hand. It's going to be awesome next summer, next summer, next summer. Thank you. Thank you so much. And let's have a hand for our leadership moderator, Sue Cross, everybody. Yeah, this grant is so amazing, and I'm so glad I get a chance to participate in it next summer. But until then, you get to enjoy my fabulous mug for a little bit longer, all right? All right. Let us go into our centering moment for the time that we have. It begins with these words: our earth home, mother and cradle of life, blessed is your name. Blessed are your fields and forests, your rocks and mountains, your sky lit with radiant sun and moon and stars. This next part is yours. Blessed are our green relatives who give so freely to us. Air to breathe, sweet fruits and nourishing seeds and vegetables to eat, shade and shelter and beauty. Blessed are all our human relatives too. Believing we were apart from the rest of our earth home, we have scarred her deeply. Yet humbly now we seek to honor what we have harmed, and we are received with blessing, for earth does not reject her beloved children. Help us to feel wonder, to give thanks, and to reclaim kinship and reverence with ourselves, a wholehearted kind of love. Amen, 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 amen.
How many of you remember this old fabulous spiritual that we never do? Wade in the water. I'm so glad Karen and Jim McBride are here to help us sing this. Here we go, everybody. Wade in the... See that God's gonna trouble the water, God's gonna trouble the water. Here we go. Wade. See that band all... God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade. If you don't, God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Come on now, wait.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that
I love that
song.
one. I love that one. Love singing it too. Thank you, Roxanna.
Especially on
Roxanna Ward, everybody. Roxanna Ward. Roxanna Ward.
Especially on a hot day. I'll talk about my sabbatical later.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. You see, this sabbatical is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to get away after 7, almost 8 years of being with you in this community. And it's also a chance for you to rest and renew in my absence. So let's get excited for the summer. Let's get excited for the opportunity that it affords all of us. And let's get ready for what I think will be a gift to us and to our community, one that we won't forget. Let us go into our food for thought. Let me read this to you. I've been working on this week, and I want to read it to you, okay? Perhaps you might be feeling angry today. Perhaps you, not your neighbor, not your dog or your cat, perhaps you might be feeling angry today. And here's the question I have for you in the midst of your anger. What do you love? Where do you feel powerless? Now, this next one is interesting to me. I was asking myself this week, for those who are feeling angry, that thing that you love, what is it telling you about what you need? That thing that's causing you that anger in your life, what's it telling you about what's lacking? What needs to be filled in? And then here's what I came up with. In that spirit, I invite you to reconnect with the clarity of your anger. I invite you to be with it in its original state. And from there, let it inform you about what you love and what is at risk. And then this is the important part. Now you get to choose how you want to express your protection of that love. Let me read that last line again. You get to choose. Wow, I get to choose. I get to choose how I want to express my protection of that love. Next one, Cyrus. We get to use the tools of assertion rather than aggression. We get to use the tools of response rather than reaction. You see, more and more, you'll begin to trust your fierceness rather than silence it. I think a lot of folks are angry in our culture because they're silencing the thing that they love. And because they're not in tune with that love, it's become a hindrance, not a help. Next slide. So how might that look? For some of us, it might look like a courageous conversation. It might look like a petition that you sign, a commitment that you make, a book that you read. I like this one. A boundary, oh my God, a boundary that you set, or a version of a hakah. Next one, Cyrus. Sometimes my anger, this is Pastor Rod, my anger, this is me, your pastor, my anger provokes me to write, to love more fiercely, to be brave. My fury, yeah, Pastor Rod gets furious. My furious life at times, it invites me to wake up, to shake loose of my denial, to speak out. My temper keeps me vigilant and clear. Next one, Cyrus. Next one. See, I want you to try and understand something with me today. Anger happens. It's a natural part of life. See, I'm okay because I'm learning to become more attuned with it and understand what it's telling me about myself. Not the world around me, not the culture in which we position ourselves, not the area in which we live, but what's happening in my heart. What's my body telling me? What's my emotion telling me? What's my heart telling me? Of course I get angry, but what do I do with it? How do I channel it? How do I make it an opportunity, not a problem? I was in a conversation with a person recently who I was sitting with, and she asked me a series of questions. She said, wouldn't you rather be more rich than poor? And of course my answer was yes. Wouldn't you rather be more full than empty? Of course my answer was yes. Wouldn't you rather smile than be sad? Of course my answer was yes to all of her great questions. But then my question back to her was, what do you think might be the intent of all these wonderful religious and spiritual philosophies that we enjoy as human beings? What do you think is their true intent? See, if I study the words of Jesus and the Buddha and Dorothy Day and all the women named and unnamed who point us to the life of compassion and love, if I study their words deeply, what I find is that the things they teach, the words they share, often do not align with capitalist culture. They do not align with an idea or a program of happiness. A life that says we ought to be happy all the time. The things that these teachers told us thousands of years ago and continue to echo through us even now, through women and men that are living and breathing today. So often, the words they speak, Cyrus, they do not align with the kind of thinking that says life is all about being happy all the time. I'm coming to a place in my thinking on this that says that we are confronting a culture that has somehow convinced itself that the purpose of life is to always be happy. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the culture. I'm not talking about neighborhood church. I'm talking about the culture. See, we're perfect. We're perfect. And then there's this line of thinking that goes with that, right? This kind of thinking that says, wow, the meaning of life is to always be happy, which means for the rich and the well-off and those who have all the resource and ability and capacity you could ever imagine in life, we need not critique. We need not criticize. We need not prod and push and prick and move those kinds of people because they somehow figured it out. They're happy. So we need not focus on them. We need not question their lives. We need not ask them hard questions. We need not be curious about their compassion, their faith, their peace, their comfort of mind. We need not look in that direction because those folks are happy. See, when I think about the teachings, the real teachings of religion and spirituality that we face as human beings, I'm compelled to look more closely at those who are rich, but they are enslaved to their assets. I'm compelled to look at those who are who have all these things in life that cause them happiness, but they're ignoring the parts of their lives that are causing impoverishment, that are bringing them sadness, that are bringing them down, that are making them feel less than. See, I have to confront this way of thinking, this us and them, this kind of scarce thinking that many have allowed to have, that we never question them on because they look happy, so they must be doing something right. Even those who allow their laughing to shield their weeping and to shield the fact that they're hiding from the pain in their own lives. See, if I'm getting to a place where I'm understanding that being human has all these different aspects, then I got to be willing to open my heart and look twice, look 3 times, look 4 times, and be curious about those that we call quote unquote blessed and those that we call quote unquote in need. To be human is to have all of that. To be human is to be on that journey and all of its dynamism and all of its aspects. See, I think oftentimes we look away from the folks that we think are happy because they somehow figured it out. They've cracked the code. But now, I'm starting to ask myself that maybe now I'm being invited, I'm being pushed to look deeper, to look longer. And now here's what I'm in wonder about. What if the meaning of life is not about happiness, but it's about understanding for ourselves the meaning that we get from it? See, not about the happiness, but about the real meaning that we get from it, that we receive from it. Happiness is like a moment. It's happenstance. It's dependent upon what is happening and what is not happening. But the meaning endures. The meaning becomes a compass. The meaning lights the way The meaning keeps us sane and whole and able to sleep at night in the midst of all the chaos dancing around us. The meaning keeps us focused on the things we can control and then invites us to give the rest to the universe. I guess what I'm saying is, as long as we are human, there are going to be those days when we're weeping. There are going to be those days when we're laughing. There are going to be those days when we're poor in all of its forms. There are going to be those days when we are rich beyond measure. There are going to be those days when we are highly thought of and sought after. And there are going to be those days when we're being ridiculed and reviled and defamed. Did you hear what I said? There's a pattern of this thing, Cyrus, and it cascades. It goes this way, and it goes that way, and it goes in that direction. It goes in that direction. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. So if I comport my life, if I attune myself to these ups and downs, these ins and outs, these sides to sides, where is my compass? Where is my footing? Where is my foundation? Perhaps there is something deeper to this life than mere happiness. I want to invite you to think about those aspects of your life when you've experienced all those things: the weeping, the hunger, the wanting, the richness, the fullness, the respect, the admiration, the defamation, and the ridicule. And I'd like you to just imagine for just a moment that the way you see yourself, the way you live your life, the way you go about your business is so much more nuanced. It's so much more deeper. It's so much more complicated. It's so much more universal than all this stuff impacting and coming at you on a daily basis. I want to invite you to get attuned to that spiritual quotient that's so much more enduring than these happenstance moments in your life. To put out your antenna, to put out that spiritual antenna that says all these aspects of my life, they are not the kind of badge that stays with me. They are not status symbols. They are not this kind of branding that I can't change. See all these things happening around me, they are not who I am. They are not the essence or the core of what I was created to be. These are not things that are meant to stain my life or to even make me feel greater than I am. They are not meant to make me feel less than human for the rest of my life or to even make me believe that I'm God. They are simply aspects. They are simply moments. They are simply chapters. They are words and verses written upon your life, and each and every one of them is not a sentence. They are not punctuated by a period. They are a curious question that ends with another question and begins with another. To be a channel for love means I live my life not as a period, but as a question mark. These are all aspects that I'm now inviting you to turn from declarations to curiosities. I'm inviting you to get away from the need to judge or fixate upon something happening in your life as if it's who you are or what you are meant to be. In fact, it is a part of your daily living that is asking you a question about yourself. Go back to those aspects: joy, happiness, sadness, and everything else in between. They're asking questions of you. What is this aspect telling me about myself? What is this thing being done in around me, teaching me about myself? What's it reminding me about my values? The thing I say I truly believe in. How is it helping me check myself against those values? Am I still on the path? Have I strayed away? What's it telling me about the people that I give my energy and my time to? Are they people who are building me up or tearing me down? Are they people who are obstructing my life or constructing my life? Are they people who are enhancing and expanding my consciousness? Or are they limiting and killing my life day by day? What's this aspect telling me about the things I tell myself when I go to bed at night? Am I speaking nice, comforting, joyous, compassionate words to myself? Or am I taking on what someone said to me today about how terrible and amazingly pitiful I am, and I'm telling myself that it's true, and I'm going to bed believing that? Someone respected me and admired me yesterday, which makes me feel bigger and fuller and more godlike than I really am. And I go to bed believing that I'm somehow God. Or someone said something really bad, really angry, really destructive, really, really inhuman to me. And I'm going to bed believing that. What I would like to invite you to do, if you haven't already come to this place with me, is look at every aspect of your life as a chance to check in with yourself, to find the meaning of what this is telling you and teaching you about yourself. Not the perpetrator, not the bully, not the one praising you, not the one worshiping you. What's it telling you about yourself, your values, your cares, your concerns, your needs? And I don't just need the insight to go there. I don't just need the questions, Robbie. I also need the courage. Because when I get the knowledge, when I get the understanding about myself, then I need the courage to do something with it. I need the courage to redirect my priorities. I need the courage to rethink who I give my time and my energy to. I need the courage to rethink how many text messages I send on a daily basis to folks who don't ever want to hear from me. I need to rethink the kind of energy I give to social media. I need to rethink the kind of energy and time I give to saying bad things and really negative things and really horrible things to myself. To be a channel for love, my babies, my friends, my family. We got to live the questions.
I keep going back to favorite hymns for some reason this week. And this one, Open My Eyes, is when Rod talked to me about what he was going to be doing this week. This one immediately popped in my head. Some of you, I'm sure, know this. It was written by Clara Scott in 1895, and I did a little research. She was the first woman to have a hymn published, 1895, but always been one of my favorites. So please sing with me. I grew up singing this. Open my eyes. I love that song. Thank you for singing that. And I think we're going to do You Are, just 2 verses of this one. And do it again. Wonderful.
Thank you, Adela, for reminding us that each and every one of us can be that person that someone can depend on. And that's kind of what our story is about today. It takes place, about 100 years before David killed Goliath. How do we know that? I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. So here's the story. Naomi and her husband, Elimelech, lived in Bethlehem with their sons, Mahlon and Chilion. Things were going a little tough in Bethlehem. There wasn't enough food for everyone. So they traveled across the desert and moved to Moab. While they were in Moab, Elimelech died. And her two sons married Orpah and Ruth. Well, then Chilion and Mahlon also died. And the three women were left alone in a strange land to Naomi, but where Ruth and Orpah's family still lived. About this time, they find out that things are better now in Bethlehem, and there's enough food for everyone. So Naomi says, I'm going back to my people. But you girls should go back to your families, marry again, and have lives. Orpah goes back to her family. But Ruth says, no, I'm not going to leave you. Where you go, I will go. Your God will be my God. Your people will be my people. And they pack up and they head back to Bethlehem. Now there's food in Bethlehem, but it's still hard for two widows. They have no man to care for them. Ruth goes to the fields. In the fields, they would harvest the crop, but they'd always leave something behind for someone who was too poor, couldn't take care of themselves. And Ruth is in the fields picking up grain for herself and for Naomi. Well, it turns out that this field belongs to Boaz. Boaz is a relative of Naomi's late husband. And Boaz marries Ruth. This makes Naomi very happy because she knows they'll be cared for. And in time, Ruth and Boaz have a son named Obed. Now, what does this all have to do with David? Well, their son Obed has a son, Jesse. And Jesse has a son, David, who killed Goliath and becomes king of Israel. So Ruth and Boaz are the great-grandparents of David. I bless you and thank you all for your spirit. God needs each and every one of us to care for each other. We can all be Ruth. We can all stick by someone who needs our help. Thank you and amen.
Yay, Mary! Miss her.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'll need my glasses. Does everyone else have dry eye, dry mouth, dry everything? So I have a sharing this morning that is just a tiny part of a very, very large subject, love. And I'm hoping that it will just quicken within you some new awareness or some inquiry that will go deeper. So if you all just, for a moment, we'll just dedicate this. May we each open the door of our own consciousness, welcoming the higher spirit, the healing Christ light, its presence with expectancy and acceptance of a new, deeper personal reality of love from our own unity with the divine shining presence within each of you. Love is. How does one love? Truly love? Perhaps let's begin with what love is not. Love is not judgment of self or others. One can dislike or speak for a better way into policies, customs, through thought constructs, but not people. Love is not anger, hate, war, lack of empathy in thoughts, words, or deeds. The very opposite of love is greed, hoarding, thinking more of money than mortals, unkindness in all of its possible manifestations is not love. Love is kind, patient, generous, long-suffering, thoughtful, gentle, self-giving, omnipresent, omnipotent, beauty, harmony, and peace. Love has kind eyes, gentle ways, trust in all good of the infinite. Love believes the universe was created in love. The impulsion is a kind place. Self-care is self-love, not abusing our bodies, minds, or emotional thoughts. Habits of excess, gluttony, substance use, destruction to one's being is true lack of self-respect, rather than love being the center of the human's being. Going forth in love, thus open to being loved, for love creates love. It is the reciprocal cycle of life. What we sow, we reap. Fulfilling laws, the law of the universe. What we sow, we reap, which fulfills the law of the universe. Love is the greatest power in the universe, overcoming belief in separation or duality. Love is the greatest power in the universe. Love listens and looks into the eyes of the one with which we are engaged. Love lightens the heart, radiates a lovely glow, attractive to all who come into the orbit dominated by a truly loving soul. Love points the way through our intuition, a gift with each living thing. Life is dominant by love, spontaneous in the true central flow. Love knows no hate, masters all, for it is the most powerful universal force. Love is the radiant light of spirit, the pure fulfillment of the original intention. Love knows no bounds or limitations, for all is possible in loving a vibration radiating from the jewel of our hearts into the great cosmic web. Love is eternal and never, never, never dies. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you. That's beautiful. So let us take a moment to be in silence with gratitude for all of the wisdom that we've heard today. I want to just give you a moment to just rest in silence and just reflect for a moment on all that you've heard, all that you've experienced, and then ask yourself, be curious for just 30 seconds or more, about what you are taking away for your consciousness, for your mind, for your heart. What are you taking from this moment today? As we sit in silence, I invite you to think about it, okay? Why don't you do it? I'll give you a moment. And as you do it, I'm going to light a candle for you, me, our community, the entire world. What is love teaching you right now? What is love telling you right now? What do you need? What's the next step? Let's take a few more seconds. Think on it. Think on it. I'm doing the same. I'm doing it with you. Thank you, Spirit, for your wisdom. Thank you, Spirit, for your wisdom. Thank you, Spirit, for your wisdom. Amen, amen, amen. All right. I want to invite our community team to come up and take our gifts for the morning. As you are able, I invite you to give and support NCC, the work we do here in Laguna Beach and for the wider world. Whether you give something large or small or something entirely different, whatever that is, I invite you to give and know that we are grateful. For it all matters, it all makes a difference. And as you do it, let's sing a song called Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
Swing low.
Before to carry me home, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I'm sometimes up and sometimes down, coming for to carry me home, but still my soul feels heavily bound, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Let's have a hand for Roxanna Ward, everybody.
Come on.
You know I got to get that in. You know
Come
I got
on,
to do that.
I'm doing it in my sleep.
You know I got to do it. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful. All right. Would you stand with me? We're going to do our last song for the morning. But before we do, could we give a hearty round of applause for our community care team, everybody? Can we do that? Give them a hand. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. So they have prepared some food and drink and some water for us to drink, because I sure need some water myself after our time this morning. So we're going to sing our final song, and then we're going to get together right out there, right back there, for some food and some drink, all right? I'm grateful for you. If you need a copy of the book, Courage to Be Disliked, see me. Our book discussion is this Thursday at 5:30 p.m., all right? I love y'all so much. Let us be a channel for love. Let's live the questions. Let's do it with courage, strength, and wisdom. Let's shine our lights. Let's shine our lights together.
This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's sing together, sing it. Everywhere I go,
what are you going to do?
I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Spirit gave it to me.
I'm gonna let it shine. Spirit gave it to me. I'm gonna let it shine. Spirit gave it to me. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.